All right, this is a Halloween special, I guess. It's
Yeah.
we did like a thriller movie. I think it was described as a psycho thriller or something, psychological thriller.
Yeah.
I'm not
That makes
sure.
sense.
hmm
Sounds about right.
Yeah, I think this movie was based on a book by some guy. I forgot his name though.
It was a
Something.
woman, um, like Lionel Shriver, I
Yeah,
think.
yeah, yeah. It was something like that.
Yeah.
I who was the director of it?
Lynne Ramsay. Um, I've heard about her before because I know her last movie did very well at Cannes. Her last movie was like this Joaquin Phoenix movie.
Mm.
I think that was also
Mm.
based on a book. It's called You Were Never Really There, and I've wanted to watch that movie for a little bit, and I just never got around to it. And that came out like I don't know, 3 years ago or something like that. Um, but this is the first. This is the first movie of hers that I've watched.
Mm.
But she's great. I mean, she's like a pretty well respected director,
Oh.
auteur, I guess.
Mm.
Yeah, she's been there since a long time ago, like 90s.
Yeah.
She didn't do a lot of movies, but I mean, it seemed good. This movie was like very I
Well, yeah.
don't
So
know.
like,
It fits the thriller title, I guess.
yeah. I forgot what I was just gonna say, but did you guys watch it through Hulu? I'm assuming,
Yeah, watched
and
it through
I
Hulu.
assume we've all this is all our first time.
This is my first time,
hmm
yeah.
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 Well, yeah. Albert? I thought you were gonna direct this. You're usually directing this, so
I don't
I was
know.
gonna like. Do you
Yeah,
want
it
me to
was
step in
Albert,
and be
it
like?
was first time. It was my
Yeah.
first time. It's
I
I
mean, I
don't.
thought we
I'm
usually
not
start with
really.
like a summary.
yeah, do you wanna Albert, do you wanna just maybe start with the plot or the summary? Like I think it's your turn this time anyway.
Okay, okay, okay.
First topic.
It's about this kid named Kevin, obviously. The title.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's about this kid named Kevin. He's a bit crazy from the beginning. You know, he hates his mom since birth, since baby, since he was born. Yeah, the mother and it's more like a mother and son's like quarrel, I guess, in a psychological way. I think like both of them just hate each other, basically. I think the mother tries to love him, but the son just hates her. And
Yeah, but
then
like when it starts though, like we kind of get the sense that like the kid has like done something terrible and we don't know what it is.
yeah, it always goes like, you know he did it, but you don't have like definite proof that he did it all the time. And at the end,
Well, not proof. It's more like we just don't know what he did. Like we know he did something,
yeah, but
right?
yeah, yeah, it doesn't
Well,
really
because like
directly
proof is
show
the wrong
you.
word, right?
Yeah, the movie doesn't really show you what he did, but we know he did something.
Yeah.
And then it just goes on like that, and then, you know, everybody dies except the mom, and he gets arrested.
Spoiler.
I mean,
Okay,
there's
Spoiler
okay,
alert.
okay.
there's
All right,
there's
let's
not much of a
let me
plot in the
okay,
thriller, I feel like.
let me fucking do. Okay, so it like opens with like yes, there's this idea that he did something. We don't know what it is, and like it hints that he's uh like potentially like did something like sociopathic.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
it's basically constantly flashing back and forth between Tilda Swinton like in
Current
the
life.
aftermath of whatever
Yeah,
happened
yeah.
and then slowly progressing through her having Kevin as a baby and then progressing through his childhood.
Yes.
And we just kind of see their relationship and him being essentially what we might perceive as like a budding sociopath.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That's basically the plot. Yeah.
Thank you, Brandon.
Wait, what?
Thank you, Brandon.
Sorry,
Not
I
Albert.
didn't want to be a dick. I just was like for the view or the listener, it's so confusing. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the plot. So everybody's first time, right? The movie. I think
yeah, it's my first time.
I'm not really like a fan of thriller, so I don't really watch thriller. I guess I don't really like choose to watch it when it's on my table, you know. I'd rather watch something like superhero movie or something like pretty deep. So
Yeah.
I kind of like avoid thriller because, like I
Yeah,
said,
but
there's not much to talk about it. Like it's just like, oh shit. Like at the end, you're just like, oh my god,
you really
this
think
happened.
so? Like,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
don't
that's
know.
what I
I felt
think.
I mean,
Mhm.
I didn't feel like it was like a thriller in the genre film sense. Like, I don't
Yeah,
think it
it
was just,
wasn't. It
you know what I
wasn't.
mean? Like, I
No,
don't
no,
think it was.
but what I'm saying is that like
Oh, you
if
mean
you
in
hear
general
about
for
like
you?
if you like
Yeah,
hear about thriller,
I
it's
get
just
you.
like, oh my god, and then like you just like, oh, this happened. Oh, that's why this happened. You know,
Yeah.
that's the basic plot of thriller. There's no like a real lesson to it, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
It doesn't really talk to me. You know, this kind of genre. But this
But do
movie
you think
was
with this one?
this one was like not a thriller in a conventional sense, I think,
Yeah.
because it does have some kind of a like character development instead of like a jump scare and like ghost comes out and you just, I don't know, some killer comes out and kills you and stuff. Yeah, it wasn't like that. It actually
Yeah.
shows how the villain Evan like develops and how he, you know, plans stuff, I guess.
Mhm.
It goes deeper into the character development than other thrillers. No, it's
I
not
see.
like, you know, like those some like good looking guy like with a good looking girl goes into like a haunted house for fun. You know, it's not like that.
Yeah, but I mean, it's important to clarify that, like, that's the difference between suspense and horror movies. Horror movies is kind of what you're describing, Albert. Suspense and thrillers are more psychological and they don't really have you, like, jump scared. Like, it's more just, like, tension and, like, get you,
Mm,
like, sweating in your seat kind of thing.
I guess.
Well, yeah. I mean, you called it at the beginning like a psychological thriller, right? Which
Yeah.
like is like an even further distinction. Yeah. Which I think is maybe like broadly what you would categorize this.
Yeah.
So yeah, I totally agree. Like, there's horror and there's kind of like those suspense thrillers, and then this one is like, I think,
Psychological thriller.
yeah. And I mean like I think I had a vague idea of like what it was about, but I didn't go in really looking into it at all. Besides just like what I've heard about it over the years, and
Mm.
like I was like pretty surprised by how, like, truthfully nothing like scary or even bloody happens until like the very end.
Yeah,
And even that is like still like it's not really meant um to be like a scare you kind of movie in that sense. Yeah.
yeah. It felt like reading a bookish, you know? It kind of
Yeah, I mean
reminded
it's
me,
entirely
yeah,
character driven. Like
yeah.
yeah.
It kind of reminded me of. It's not really similar to Perfume, but it kind of. I kind of had the same feeling when I was reading the book Perfume about this
Perfume.
Yeah,
What's that? No.
it's about some like sociopath also in a fantasy world kind of thing. It's not really fantasy, but it's I don't
Wait,
know.
is it a book
It's a
or
book.
because I
It's a
see a
book.
movie too?
It's a movie also. They made a movie out of it. But like it
Mm.
kind of felt like that, It's just like you see the character, evolving, I guess, into this crazy person
Yeah.
since the beginning. And at the end, you see the end product and how it happened, why it happened, kind of thing. You know? Yeah, it kind of
Yeah.
felt like that. Anyway,
And I think
I talked too much about it, and why don't you guys talk
Well,
about your
wait.
impression?
Before that, broadly, did you like it? I feel like you didn't really say actually what you
I
thought about it.
I feel like I would have enjoyed it more if I read the book rather than watching the movie because to me it was just looking at this Kevin dude it just infuriates me, man. If that was me, my mom would have like smacked the hell out of me, dude. Like she was just like, "Hey,
Yeah, yeah,
get the
yeah. No,
fuck out of my
totally.
house."
Multiple times I'm like, dude, throw this kid out of a fucking window right
Yeah. just
Yeah.
he's not worth it, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I shouldn't say that. Like it
Well,
was kind of disturbing to be honest. Like it's just like
yeah.
I don't know. It was I felt uneasy watching him,
Mm.
how he acted around his mom and like how he's acting around other people and stuff. Yeah, It's
Mhm.
I don't know. That's how I felt. Anyway, what about you guys? Hello?
Yeah, you wanna go ahead?
Yeah, go for it, Yoon.
Oh no, I just wanted to add a little bit to, I thought like the certain characteristics that Kevin displayed, although they're super extreme and psychotic, some of them are kind of in a way relatable in the sense that it just seems like I could see some human like they're very humane. Um but it's like extreme, obviously. But it made it a bit more believable that it's constructed in this way, and it's not like some completely absurd.
Mm.
Like, oh, this, like when they talk about or when they make villains in movies, they're just straight up bad, and like to a certain degree,
Yeah.
it starts out with him just being like completely adversarial to his mother, but like the progression and kind of it makes me think like maybe the story where the source is from, maybe it had certain parts that the movie might have taken out. I'm not sure. Or I think there might be more to the story if this was actually like a, let's say this is based on a real incident. Like it's believable almost to that extent that mhm, I think maybe there's certain incidents that the mother might have done stuff to Kevin that might have influenced his behavior and things like that. Because
There's
if you
more
see
to it.
her,
That's what you're
yeah,
saying.
that's just how I was like thinking about it. Maybe the original source, the story. I know the book is in the viewpoint of the mother.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and I was just thinking maybe she just admitted in certain parts that like she admitted that she broke like Kevin's arm, right? But I'm just
Yeah.
thinking maybe there's more things to it. Like maybe she just completely disregarded her son because she's just lost her patience. Like things like that might have been
Mm.
influential to his behavior. Maybe is it like if you just see the film, it just looks like it's a complete asshole from the start to his mother. Um, but I don't know. It just made me think about that. Um,
Mm.
so when I guess when I watching this film, I just kind of analyzed too much into the characteristic of Kevin, and then the believability and the yeah. Was thinking a lot about like the psychology behind that. Um, so that's kind of how
Yeah.
I approach this film. Like,
Mm.
it's a little bit weird, but yeah, I just try to like think about like situations this can happen in real life. Um, and like the natural like things like psychology of like if you have a sibling, they get like naturally jealous and do things, but obviously Kevin was like to an extreme where it's psychotic.
Yeah. I mean,
Uh,
they do show how, I mean, they don't really show too much of it, but they do show how, like, Tilda Swinton kind
mhm,
of mistreats Kevin, Ezra Miller,
mhm,
in the beginning,
mhm.
though. Like, she just, like, brings the baby to the jackhammer because he doesn't stop crying.
Yeah.
I don't
And
think that's
she,
I think that's like I don't
no,
Mhm.
think of
no, no,
that as
there's more,
mistreating
though.
him.
There's more. Like, she's like, oh, mommy could be in France, but I can't go because of you. Like, she says
Right.
that kind of stuff in the movie.
Dude, that is like I mean,
That
I
is
don't I don't
something that you
you consider
shouldn't
that
do.
mistreating a child? Like
I think.
Really?
I see it as
Mhm,
I see it as the the reality of motherhood, right? Which is that it's fucking exhausting.
mhm,
It's like
But would you say
it's
that to your kid though? Like to their face? Like,
I
oh my
mean
god, Kevin, you're frustrating me.
when she
Like,
says that the kid is like literally is I don't remember exactly how old the kid is, but like she's not telling the kid as a um like a teenager or as like a um when the kid can talk.
I
Doesn't she
mean,
say that to the kid when it's like a baby?
it's like
Yeah, that's
3
true.
years old, I
But
think.
there's like an example later on. I think they're in the restaurant, or yeah,
That's so
or
interesting. So
actually they're
you
at the house. Uh-huh.
no, go ahead, sorry.
Oh yeah, they're at the house, and he's like, you don't. There's things that you're used to, but you don't have to like you're used to me, but you don't like me,
Yeah,
and that's what it's in for. And she just kind of doesn't say anything. So
yeah.
it's like both of them already know that they hate each other, and that's kind of like that's what it kind of grew from, this like constant resentment, and like I'm not saying she was a bad parent at all. Like I think like her patience is pretty amazing, like seeing like
Yeah, it
what she's gone
is.
through, at least
And I
what they
don't think
showed in
she
the film.
hates I
But
wouldn't say she
I'm just
hates Kevin.
thinking, yeah, maybe perhaps in the book, like she might have omitted certain parts that might have, I'm just assuming like, because the character development's so well done and the psychology that I feel like it seems pretty like it seems so realistic that maybe there's something else that is just not shown, but it might have been just lost because it's translated in the film. Um,
Hmm.
yeah,
Yeah, I'm
I
sure there
was
is
kind of playing
stuff.
with that idea. Yeah.
I'm sure
Um,
there is stuff, but I also I feel like I don't need it doesn't
mhm,
like
mhm,
I think that just the way that Kevin like his nature is, it's
mhm,
clear to me that nothing that she could have done could
Made it better.
explain his behavior.
mm,
Mm, okay.
Like to me he is he is basically just born as a like
mhm,
Psychopath.
sociopath.
Mm.
Yeah, like
mm,
and I mean
mhm,
I don't know the nuances of that kind of those different classifications, I guess, but like he clearly is like you cannot explain it as like
Mm.
to me I was like
mhm,
I can't just be like, oh well, she threw him that one time, so therefore, like from the beginning, like the the level of like intelligence with which he is like malicious towards her is like terrifying.
Yeah,
mhm,
Like
yeah, it
he's
is. It
really like
is.
you
mhm,
know what I mean? It's not just like I'm gonna like throw things and I'm gonna have a tantrum. Like he's fucking like he's like really really intelligent in how he fucks with her.
Yeah, yeah.
true.
With
Yeah,
relationship
like he refuses to
wise.
talk. Yeah. Mhm,
Like he's fucking manipulative.
mhm,
He's like when he the fucking like when she throws him
Mhm.
after he fucking shits himself like twice in a row, right?
Yeah.
And then they come back home, and then he fucking goes to the bathroom like
Mhm, mhm,
that
mhm.
night.
Oh yeah,
Right?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Like he's like psychologically fucking with her, and then that night he like cuddles up with her,
Yeah.
Mhm,
and then and she's like all happy about it, and the next morning he's back to just being like, I hate you.
Yeah.
mhm.
That's, I don't know, it's
Well,
just like a level of
uh-huh.
yeah, I don't know.
Anyway,
Yeah, that
The
actually that part's kind of interesting. I just want to talk about like really briefly that scene where he's cuddling up with her. Hey, like, is that because I think he was sick or something? Like, usually when people are vulnerable, they're more like,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah.
I just understood it as that, but was he just? Do you think he was just like trying to fuck with her
I
more?
think he was. To me,
I
he was
think
fucking
he
with
was
her. I think
fucking
he was
with
fucking.
her.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Mm.
let's hear about Pyatt first, and then we can go further into the movie. What about you, Pyatt?
Um, well, I was gonna first say, um, shit, what was I gonna say? So when Brandon brought up the him like cuddling up with her, like it seemed like throughout the movie there was this kind of like characteristic to Kevin that he was, manipulating her in a way that was like showing her affection so that he could develop a sort of rapport or comfort in her just so that he can just like pile drive her even harder like the next time,
Pile
it
driver.
was like just like baiting her and then like just hitting
Yeah.
her harder than ever before, and like obviously
Mm.
like the progression of the movie, like he gets worse and worse, like to like the like magnitude of his crimes, and like it obviously ends with like the incident, which is like something that we can go into later, but
Mhm.
that's like the crescendo and like the climax of like his like terror basically.
Mm.
um but anyways, like overall the movie, I thought it was like okay. I mean, I didn't really like follow along as like closely as like maybe the other movies, but I thought the directing was interesting. I thought the choices they made was like very was very precise and like very well chosen for like this theme, just because like they like seem to have like more of like a choppy kind of like shooting style where they would like show like just like little snippets of like objects and like whatever just to like create just like ambiance or whatever, and then
Mhm.
like it would just like relate to like what was going on, because like there was like a chronological timeline, I would say, because like the movie starts with like hinting of the incident, but it like sort of chronologically goes through the timeline of Kevin growing up with like flashbacks to the future and backwards, like here and there. So like I thought just like the directing style was like very interesting, just like with the snippets and just like
Mhm.
relating everything with just like everything that was around them in that moment, or just like in the house, and like also relating it to like future and past events. Like I thought that was like very representative of like, or it was like very well paired with like the theme of the movie, I guess.
Yeah,
Mm.
I agree. I think like her. I mean, I I liked the movie a lot. I thought the direction was great. Like she, um, the those two timelines were great. I think it like is great at building tension, I guess. And
Yeah.
there were a lot of, I mean, like Pyatt said, like a lot of great images to me, and like these montages are. She's just great at building a specific tone, like Pyatt said, like this kind of ambiance that's very eerie and unsettling, but also
Mhm.
not giving you the satisfaction of understanding what that's coming from, or also when you do slowly understand where it's coming from, like not even getting this satisfaction of like a reason why Kevin is the way he is. Um, but yeah, like I thought the direction was great, and I thought the acting was really, really good. I think Tilda Swinton's like incredible. I thought Ezra Miller, the oldest version of Kevin, was like really, really good too.
Yeah.
And he was like, I think that was like sort of a breakout role for him, and I think he was pretty young. And also the kid, dude, that kid is fucking like.
Oh
When I look at that kid,
man.
I'm like,
Yeah.
bro,
That
like,
kid makes me
I'm like, they
mad.
should fucking check out if that kid is actually like that. Like,
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't think you can act that shit at that age. I don't think you can act that shit. Like, he
No.
has a problem.
They just
The
got some
actual
kid
Kevin.
from like, you know, some kid who has a problem. Hey, we're auditioning for kids,
like
and he needs
he's
to have a
really
problem.
Like,
good, dude.
Yeah, he needs to have a
Um,
problem. It's,
but
oh
Maybe it's a
man.
yeah,
documentary. Yeah.
and then
That's fine.
I think Yoon was saying earlier that like there's an aspect of like what he does throughout that is not so like overtly evil that you can kind of be like almost be like, well, like, maybe there's a reason or an excuse for that or this or that, right? Like, which I think is what makes it more compelling for, and I'm sure, like you said, like that's probably why the book being told from or being um like a first person perspective from the mom is probably really interesting because as a mom there's this aspect of like you're supposed to love your child like unconditionally and purely, and this kid keeps acting out in this way, but it's like not obvious to anyone outside of her, so it's this like weird like, is it just
Yeah.
me? Am I just a terrible mother? Is this like is it bad that I like kind of resent my child? You know, like there's this weird gaslighting going on like internally, I'm
Right.
sure, because it's not like you know, he's not, you know, hurting kids in class and stuff, at least from what we see,
No.
you know. So it's
Yeah.
like it can't really be, it's not obvious, and as a result probably more like, I don't know, harder for her to deal with it and process it, because like the husband the whole time is basically like, you just don't like him,
Yeah.
and he's like inadvertently gaslighting her because he only sees the kid being nice to him because the kid is fucking calculated and is like puts on this weird smile for him whenever the dad's around. So yeah, like I agree. Like I think that stuff where it's like you kind of can be like, well, is there something really wrong? Like that's what makes it much more compelling and scary and like frustrating. But obviously, I mean, we do see that he's insane. But
He is
um,
freaking insane.
yeah,
I think you organized it really well. I think it made it super like compelling and confusing, but like amplified the terror of it because
yeah,
as a viewer, you're just like I was trying to keep analyzing like why would he act this way, and like if you like look at even serial killers, they have like childhoods and like reasons why they've kind of become the people they are. And then you look at Kevin, and then like you trying to piece things together, but it just seems like like you're saying, he's just a crazy kid who's like super
yeah,
intelligent and manipulative, and like it doesn't really seem to be a direct reason, and you're just like searching for it as a viewer,
yeah.
and you just get nothing. It's like frustrating at the same time, but yeah, yeah,
I mean,
that's crazy because
I've also heard of like, I think there are like some like sociopaths where they actually have like a completely stable upbringing and like a loving family, and they just there's no explanation.
Right.
Like I think I mean I don't, I'm not a fucking expert on this, but like I remember reading about that where there are like some kids where like their parents are just like, we love our child, but like there's something wrong with our child and we don't know what to do.
Yeah.
And there's like just no explanation, like they're just born that way. And I think if you spot it early on, I remember reading that like there are situations where like if you spot it early on, there is a way to almost like turn the child away from that, but in some of these instances, it's just like there is no explanation. They're really just born
Mm,
with these like sociopathic tendencies.
right.
And I guess I
Mhm.
that was satisfying enough for me. I mean, not satisfying is a weird word, but like,
That's
like
enough for you, yeah.
yeah, like
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
That makes sense, yeah. No, actually, yeah, in like a biological standpoint, if you look at the variance and like the mutation, there's bound to be some outliers that's just
Mm,
like doesn't function like we do, and
mm,
it can't actually assimilate to like society. But
yeah.
yeah, that's interesting. I guess yeah, because all the psychological like patterns and things like were so well not explained but like displayed. I was like, maybe there's something. Maybe this is more like a psychological case study film or
Mhm.
book. But yeah, you're right. Maybe there's just Kevin's just a fucking crazy like annoying kid. Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, he is crazy and annoying. That's
yeah,
for
he's
sure.
crazy. And
It's not a maybe, dude. It's not a maybe.
yeah, I mean, like with no external influence. Yeah, he's just
Yeah.
born that way. It's like as a
Yeah.
baby too, he just only cries around his mother. Something weird about that too.
Yeah, as a
Hmm.
baby, he
It's
just
just
fucks
yeah,
with
as a
the
baby.
mother. When the
It's
dad is like, even as a baby, like the dad comes in and mom's like, "Oh my god, he just went to sleep. Like, don't wake him
yeah,
up."
yeah,
And
That
then
was
mhm.
frustrating. Where I'm like,
Yeah,
at that point, I'm like, dude, like fucking listen to your wife, dude. Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
like she wants to have quiet, and you
yeah,
just
but
walk
Fucking John
in.
C.
but the
Riley.
but the weird thing is like when the dad hugs the baby,
Yeah, it
the baby
doesn't
doesn't
cry.
cry.
Yeah,
Baby
Yeah,
doesn't cry.
yeah. I mean, that could be normal, but it is like by the end of the movie, you are kind of like, damn, that baby was just hell bent on fucking with the mom
Yeah.
from birth.
yeah. Cause
Yeah,
he killed like his dad and his
yeah. That's
sister.
also crazy too. Yeah,
That's like fucked
he
up.
Hmm.
killed
Yeah,
the yeah.
It's super crazy.
insane. Yeah. Oh, so actually, at the very end, she asks like why he did it, right? And he's like, I don't know anymore. Like maybe
Yeah.
the motive's just gone because like he's
Yeah,
like he thinks he's
No,
done with like
I
fucking with
do
her.
think
I don't know what that
no, no,
means.
no, I think he's still fucking with her because like
so
she
okay, yeah, that
Oh,
was
visits
he's like
him.
next.
refusing to give an
Yeah,
answer.
she visits him all the time, even though like you know he killed
Uh-huh.
everyone she loved. She
Yeah.
still visits him for
So
what?
so
Like
you
to
think
know to know the reason, right? Why he did it, and he's just like, oh, I know you want the reason, so I'm not gonna say it. Like he's just like that.
you think that he was putting on a performance?
Yeah, he's still like
I don't
fucking with
know.
her.
Yeah, maybe because like
He's still
yeah,
fucking
that's.
with
I
her.
mean, I think it's like a big question at the end. But like to me,
Mhm.
it felt like his demeanor was like distinctly different than any other time in the movie
Mm.
Yeah.
or growing
Mhm.
up, where he
Yeah.
really did seem like genuinely vulnerable.
Hmm.
Mhm.
But maybe that is yeah, maybe that's him pulling another trick. But it feels like at the same time though, like wouldn't like why would that be more? Why would that be a more effective way to get at his mom? Like if anything, that almost feels like that would make her feel more love for him, right? Because she
What?
Mm.
I'm
well,
confused.
if he's like I don't know why versus a usual response, which is basically like fuck off, like I like there's no reason or whatever, right? That's
Mhm.
frustrating because she's like I want to know
Yeah.
why, and if he doesn't tell her, that's frustrating. But if he
Yeah.
tells her like I don't know, like I don't know what the
Mhm.
reason is, and like like he shows a side of him that is human, then
Mm.
that makes her love him more, right? Like she hugs him,
Mhm.
she feels like tenderness towards him because she's still like her baby and is like basically in this moment like I'm lost.
Mm.
So I'm saying
Mm,
like if that is him trying to fuck with her, is
Yeah.
that more of a is that a more effective sort of torturing for her or torture for
I
her? Because
think it is more torturing
okay,
or like making her more miserable because he's the only one she can rely on. Even though she was hugging him, in the movie, like she wasn't like smiling or anything. She's like, her face was like, what the fuck am I doing? Like, what is this?
So
Is this the only thing
I
I
think
have
in that
left?
moment, oh well, yeah, but I think in that moment she feels tenderness towards him because he finally shows like innocence and emotion and like vulnerability.
Hmm.
No,
So to
I
me,
felt
I felt
like, I don't know. I felt like it was like, oh, this is the only thing that this crazy dude, crazy kid is the only thing that I have now. I feel miserable. I think that was the face she was making when she was hugging her.
oh, I don't think that. I really don't.
Mm.
Like I think that that's what makes it so like at the end of it all, she's still a mother. Like she can't. I
Mhm.
actually wanted to bring this up. I'm like, it's an interesting kind of like, um, I don't know, another version of a motherhood tale versus Bong's mother,
Yeah.
because like this one is as much about like a mother's dedication as that one, but just in a different sense.
Mm.
Because like
Mhm.
she still fucking like goes every time and like has no
Mhm.
reason to go. Like he literally ruined her life. He killed her daughter and husband.
Hmm.
But like I don't know. To me, like when she hugs him, it's like she's already coming every single time. She still loves him, or else she wouldn't come. She still feels like she's his mother.
No, I
And
do
when he,
think she's coming in because she wants to know the reason why he killed the dad and the kid, his sibling. I think that's why he keeps visiting him. Because the thing.
I don't think that's the only reason. I don't think that's the only
Mm,
reason. I think that she's like she is still fundamentally has a sense of like motherly love for him.
yeah, but I think it's the main reason why she goes there.
Maybe, but I still think that like at the end when he gives her that explanation, you think that that makes her more miserable?
Yeah.
I mean,
Because
maybe that's the wrong
that's the
question. Maybe
only
it's not that.
thing she can hang on to. Like she doesn't have anyone.
Mhm.
She doesn't
No,
have
I know,
anyone.
but I think in terms of her feelings towards him, I think that it only makes her feel more broken about him. Like, and that only makes her more, yeah, I don't know, like tender
this
towards
is-
him.
this movie makes my brain hurt, dude.
Well, I mean, well, what do you guys think? Like, I mean, it's just been me and Albert. Like, at
Yeah.
the end there, when he says that, number one, do you think that he's lying? I personally, like, I felt like he was being genuine. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. Like, I kind of go back and forth. But I personally think he was being, like, genuine. But also, like, what do you think that makes her feel?
Pat, do you want to start? Just like maybe just your general thoughts on the ending
Yeah.
and like what you think. Yeah.
So I guess I agree a little bit more with Brandon. I think Albert, you made a good point. Just like saying like it kind of fucks with her more, just to like give the response that he did. But like I think our reasoning is different. I
Hmm.
think that was like a stronger way to like mess with her, just because just like his pattern is just to like suck her in and then like
Yeah, that's
just to
true.
like torment her afterwards. So I mean, in that moment when I was watching the movie, I was expecting him to like give the normal like fuck off answer, um but because he did that way, I was expecting that just because of his character, and then also like if you like thought about it, just like as far as like I don't know, just like the timeline, like he'd be in jail for. I mean, he was trialed as a minor, but he would still be in jail. So like what could he possibly do more than just like verbally like fuck with her? So like I thought like that would be like if he wanted to like mess with her, like the strongest move he could do is just to like use his words. But I mean, the way that he did it is like I thought it was kind of like a change of character almost. Like
Mm.
for me, there was like two moments in the movie where it kind of seemed like he was actually human inside, and that was when his sister was born. Like to me, it actually seemed like there was hurt like inside of him that he was like losing his mother in a sense that like I guess that it's like that similar feeling that like older siblings feel of like, or specifically like first children, like they just like don't want like um their next like sibling to be born just because they like feel like they're losing their mom or parents in some way. But um between that and like the ending, like it seemed like he was actually like hurt, like he seemed like he had actually been like wrung like by going through the system, you know, and like he'd actually like hit like a limit or like seemed like he wasn't like, you know, invincible, you know. And then when they hugged goodbye, like to me it seemed like the mom was kind of like ashamed just because she had suffered so many consequences from his actions, like from the town, and it was almost like her eyes, like inadvertently, kind of like gazed upwards to like look at the guards to like see if they were like judging her for like still loving her son. So I don't know. I mean, it's a very complex thing, and like the character of Kevin is like he's not really, you know, um it's really hard to connect with him just because he's so like demented in his like mindset. But um, yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know. It's a complex like it's a complex feeling, I guess, in that moment at the end.
I mean, like, I guess I just feel like, sorry, I'm cutting you off, but I guess like
No, no,
it's
no,
just
go
like
ahead.
with what you're saying, Albert. Like, part of me does agree with what you're saying. Like, she is like miserable and empty, and does feel like this is all I have. But I think just like when he responds in that way, where he does seem human,
Yeah.
like I think that like tugs at her.
Mm.
Like when she embraces him, like she's embracing him because that is like tugging at her. She's like, he doesn't, he is human, and I like want to comfort him, and I want to like protect him,
Mm.
even if that's from himself, maybe.
I
But
guess like there's some hints that um she thinks of him more than you think, because like she
wait, what do you mean by that?
makes the room for Kevin. Basically, they moved out, right, of the house, and Tilda
Wait, like,
Swinton.
do you doubt that she like loves him?
No, I think she's trying to love him. You know, you can see the effort that she's making, because
Mm-hmm.
like in the shitty house they're living in, he's living in. She's waiting for Kevin. Basically, she prepared his room, exactly the same room, same color from the previous house where all the people died, right? Like the husband and
Yeah.
the kid died. But so I do think the mother kind of loves him, or like she's just hanging on to him. Just either of them, but yeah, I can't see where you're coming from. Like she's yeah, but I still think like she's trying to love him still, but like she's deep inside she knows that she hates him. Yeah, like she's just
Yeah,
trying
I don't
to
know.
hang
Like
on to him.
I get what you mean, but like I think at the end of it, to me, it is like so much about like in the end, she like I don't think it's like a kind of love him. I think that despite it all, she really loves him, and that's what makes it so like sad and horrifying. And I think
Yeah.
she also knows that.
Hmm.
Like I think she knows it's like I love this thing that is uh like a demon.
Like a monster.
But I can't not, like, because I am his mom.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry, Yoon, go.
Yeah,
Like
go
I
you go ahead.
I kind of like
No, no, you could go. We don't have to.
derailed.
Well, I mean, I think when I initially saw it, I had the same idea as you're saying. Because if you see like the previous visits that Tilda Swinton's character does to with Ezra Miller's character Kevin, I did feel like, you know, she's I like your parallel with Bong Joon-ho's mother. Like she has this attachment, this emotional bond, like regardless of anything he did. And yeah, like I like thinking about it after all the horrific things he's done. I feel like, you know, if the parent didn't have this kind of emotional attachment, they wouldn't even like come visit. I feel like
Mm.
after like killing your husband and your daughter, like you just kind of want no part in him anymore. But like I just feel the main reason is because yeah, she has this attachment, this I would say I guess love, emotional attachment to him. Like regardless, like even though of all the horrific things he's done. So and I also agree with like Pyatt saying that Ezra Miller's Kevin basically has this shift at the end. It's different from the previous visits, like his like demeanor, and yeah, I think he does show like this vulnerability, and instead of thinking like maybe he's like fucking with her, I think he's like actually telling the truth. Like he's like he just has no idea, like or like the he like he said like he doesn't remember anymore, right? Like why he did it.
Mhm.
Um, and I kind of believed him. Like I didn't think he was fucking with him, but you know, now that we're talking about it though, like it's like it's really hard to like figure out what he's thinking, because
Yeah.
Yeah.
he's shown like patterns before of like being super manipulative and like showing false emotion, I guess, to get closer to even hurt her more. Because the initial like in the beginning scene where he's cuddling up with his mother, I thought that was genuine actually,
Mm.
but I'm like doubting it now. But I just like that's the thing. Like you can't really figure this guy out. That's
Psychological thriller, man. Fucks with you, dude. Psychologically.
yeah. It's honestly like extremely frustrating because like for me like I've been like always trying to find like reasoning to things, and but yeah, it's maybe there's just no reason. Maybe it's
Yeah.
just yeah. Since the day he's born, he's just wanting to
I'm
fuck
gonna
with
fuck with
his
this
mother.
guy. I, I'm
Just yeah.
I just came out of the womb. I see this person. I choose you, man. I choose you. I'm gonna fuck with you my entire fucking life.
Actually, I think
That's
like
him, dude. That's him.
yeah, but like also like a really clear indication is like that the clip of him being interviewed on TV
Right.
where it's like he clearly sounds like a sociopath because he's
Right.
literally like yeah, the language he uses sounds like a fucking
Mhm.
real like one of those school shooters,
Mm,
Right.
right?
Mm,
Where they like write those manifestos and shit.
yeah.
yeah.
Where he's like he's basically like you fucking sheeple and like you have to do something and like
Right.
he's literally yeah, that's basically what he's saying.
You
And
guys
then
are
he's like
sheep, not a shark.
yeah, but like now he's like, but guess what? Like I did this thing and now everyone's looking at me.
Yeah.
Right? Like
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, he does say.
Wasn't
that
there like a small monologue in middle of the film where he's like, like it doesn't matter like what grades I get. It's like the people like
yeah.
me are the ones that get attention. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Right.
he's like getting interviewed for one of those like in prison presumably.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
I see. I see. That's what it was. I see.
yeah.
That's creepy. Yeah. Hmm.
I
And even
wonder
when he
how the
comes
mother
out,
felt when she saw that thing.
Hmm.
She watches it, right, on TV?
Mhm.
yeah, they show her like going up to the TV and yeah,
Crazy,
watching
man.
it.
Man,
That's why it's
I
like what can
wouldn't.
you fucking do?
Yeah, I wouldn't know what to do.
Mhm.
Like I'll be in such a dilemma. Like, should I like love this person because he's family, or should I hate this person because he's a criminal? Because he's both things, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Would
I
you
think that. Uh-huh.
would you love someone who's your family who's done like things that you don't want people to do? Like maybe even
Mhm.
small things, like your girlfriend or like your kid or your family.
Mhm.
That yeah, but that's the thing. I think like for someone to do something like that, it's like it really feels like only a fucking mom would still,
Love him.
yeah, like yeah, you
Mhm.
know,
Yeah.
Yeah, the parallels that you made with like Bong Joon-ho's mothers, like that was
Yeah.
amazing because yeah,
sorry,
like it, like the idea of family and the idea of like bloodline and like this kind of almost natural and intuitive and like biological
yeah,
uh
yeah.
like attachments to the, like
Richard
protecting
Dawkins,
and
dude. Protect your DNA.
it's an interesting like aspect to think about. Like yeah, it's like is it really your son after all the things that he did? Like is that like that idea of family, is that still there? Yeah, it's interesting. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like personally, I think there's a threshold I would say that I would consider someone to be,
Family.
I don't know, family or I don't know. Like that's why I keep wanting to break it down more to like was there something earlier that might have influenced someone to do that, or is it just like purely them? It's hard.
Yeah, it's really
Yeah.
hard. He's
I
your
think
family, but he killed your
uh-huh.
family.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Tilda Swinton's like performance is actually like if I would think about it, I wouldn't even like if I was in that situation, I wouldn't even have the effort or energy or like the like the luxury of mindset to even think about like what to do or anything. So you naturally kind of do something instinctive and biological, and that's just like he's my son. I love him and I'll protect him. Like there's no like logical thinking I would do, maybe, and I'll be just completely like crazy myself. And I kind of see that in her character and how she performed it, where she's just like kind of like doesn't know like what to do, so she's just like kind of doing like what she feels like is right, but at the same time she's like I don't know. That's how I felt looking at her, and I thought that was amazing. Like if you just look at her eyes, like
Yeah.
she's just always lost, I guess.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah, and
yeah.
she's like so many of the montages like that are intercut with the present day and the childhood is her like obsessively trying to clean
Right.
the, I mean it's basically paint, right? But like it's
Yeah.
essentially
Mhm.
like I guess sort of like like a metaphor for like blood, right? And like
Right.
it's just her like
Right.
obsessively trying to clean it off.
Mhm.
So it's like she knows, right? She is like she knows the horror of like what her son has done, and she knows how wrong it is, and she doesn't fight back when all these
No.
people in town like are always like attacking her almost,
Yeah.
Yeah.
she's like, I know that my son is a monster,
Mhm.
and she tries to keep like clean this fucking house, but like
Mhm.
you can't fucking clean that shit.
Mhm.
I mean, you
She ends
can.
up painting over it, right? Like to kind of
Yeah.
temporarily, I guess, but it's
Yeah.
always underneath, right? Yeah. Yeah. There's a lot of symbolisms, yeah, in this
Yeah.
film.
Oh, so
Yeah.
many
Yeah,
reds,
so
man.
much red, so much
Yeah,
Oh,
red.
so much
even the
red,
beginning
tomato
scene.
festival.
Dude, I
Yeah.
Yeah.
love that shot. Like
Yeah, definitely.
the fade from the white into that shot. That shot is so fucking nice.
Yeah,
Um,
I totally get. That was a really good shot. Um, and like symbolism with the eyeball, like with the lychee that Kevin's eating
Oh,
and it's like
god
squirting out of
damn,
his
dude.
mouth.
yeah.
That
That's like
hurt
an
my.
obvious symbol.
Oh, man.
Yeah,
When I saw
I
that
was yeah
scene, oh,
infuriating. Yeah.
it hurt me, dude. It hurt me. Like, I felt it physically.
Wait,
My eyes
wait.
just
What do
getting
you
chewed
mean?
out.
Oh, I see.
Oh, man. Yeah, so basically, it doesn't show in the movie, but Kevin shot the girl's eye, I think. And
Oh
the the
wait,
the kid's eye, his sister's eye.
is that what happened?
Yeah, that's why, dude. They at the table they were like, the dad was
What?
like, "We don't blame you. it happens, and the mother's like, "What the fuck? She
Wait,
lost the
pause. Is
fucking
that what
eye."
happened?
Yeah,
I
No,
think it's inferred that
that's
the product she was
implied.
using,
no,
Yeah.
dude. I agree with you. Isn't
the
it? It's the
the
fucking
bleach.
drain.
Yeah.
Huh?
Cause,
What?
No.
okay, the situation was that in outside the hospital, he's like, why did you
Leave
leave
out this.
that cleaning product out? So it's inferred that she might have played with it and it got in her eye, but where in the film it's
Oh.
alluding to like he
Oh, never
probably
mind
did
then.
that. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. So he
anyway.
says that, and then also like when the dad is like telling Tilda Swinton to like apologize or whatever, she's saying he's saying like we don't want you to feel guilty because you were supposed to be watching the daughter.
Yeah.
Right.
So not that
Yeah.
he shot her.
Oh, I thought he
Um,
shot her. Never mind.
No,
dude, I think that's fucking. I mean,
No, but I think that's understandable because there's an amazing shot as well that zooms into Ezra Miller's eye and it shows like the target,
oh yeah, that's
Right.
true. Yeah,
right?
that's true.
So I kind of get maybe that's subliminally like why you thought he shot her eye.
Yeah.
But yeah, that seems
Interesting.
amazing too. I'm like, oh,
Mhm.
like I've seen it done in other films, but it was like done particularly well in this one.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking like how they shoot this so like pristinely in his eye. Is this post production or they actually get the reflection? Or I don't
Yeah.
know. It's just
Yeah.
like really intense. Well done.
Ugh.
Ezra Miller was. I thought he was really
He
really good.
was, dude. I,
Yeah.
I, I. The first time I saw him is from Justice League, man. That's a
Really?
Flash.
Oh yeah, he's the Flash. Yeah.
And then he's acting like this crazy kid, and I'm just like, ooh, this is weird. What happened to that delightful kid who eats pizza all day? And,
I
and this guy's like, oh.
Yeah, it's crazy. Wow. Yeah.
Man, I feel like we really need to check on that kid too.
Yeah,
Now that you
True.
said it.
Younger,
I agree.
younger Kevin.
Oh god damn, dude.
like
I
I'm
hope he's
telling you,
not
that kid is
choking
too
kids.
good at playing it like that.
Yeah.
Like
expressions and everything.
Facial
What was that?
expression,
Oh yeah.
how he talks,
Mhm.
how he shifts. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
so like gives me goosebumps if you think about it.
Yeah, dude.
Oh. Yeah, we need to check on that kid. He's at least 20s now, I think. No, and he's almost
It came
20,
out
I think.
2011. So
Yeah. He looked like he's 5 or 6-ish, that movie, so gonna be in high school choking kids now. Oh man, I mean, like that's how good his
Yeah,
acting
that's how
was.
good his performance was.
Yeah, it's just he made us believe that he's, actually
Yeah.
this evil.
yeah.
Yeah, I feel like this film wouldn't have worked if it wasn't for those two.
Yeah.
Like their performances, they're portraying Kevin.
Yeah, I think since this was more like a character-driven movie, I think the actors actually like, um, you know, stood out more, right, in this
Yeah.
movie.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
Tilda
and
Swinton, Ezra Miller.
also because like especially in like when Kevin is older, like with Ezra Miller's part, and then like later on in the aftermath for Tilda Swinton, like most of their performances basically wordless. Like they don't really say much.
Mm.
There's a lot of like, I mean, especially Tilda Swinton afterwards, eh, like in the present day,
Yeah.
and then like Ezra Miller just like fucking staring creepily in all these scenes, and
Yeah.
like
Getting
in
the
the
nails out of his mouth.
yeah, like it's like they
Creepy.
don't really say much, and but that I guess just speaks to how powerful their performances are, because
Yeah.
there are no like real explosive scenes between them two,
Right.
you know,
Mm-hmm.
but you can still feel it. It still feels like eerie
Yeah. You feel the
Yeah.
unsettling and
tension.
terrifying. Yeah.
There's like a silent intensity like
Yeah.
throughout the film. Just
Yeah.
like in that like first like tomato scene or whatever in like France or Spain or wherever that is,
Yeah.
and because it's just like pure chaos and like you can see she's kind of like in this like blissful state and like just like the intensity is like I don't know displayed just by like the colors and like the people and everything and then like that like
Mhm.
scene where like the like incident occurs like where he's on stage like there's no noise like there might be like some like very like low tones in the background and like
Mhm.
also when she goes home to like try and find Franklin and her like daughter
Oh
like
yeah.
they don't even show the reaction that she has like with them and like she
True.
just comes back into the house like with blood all over her shirt because she probably just like came back from like picking up her child and like trying to revive her and there's no noise and it's just like
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
crazy it's just like the silent intensity is just like so crazy like all over the place like throughout the movie.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true. They
Yeah.
don't even show her reacting. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, most of the like crazy scenes, I don't think you hear any music. Like it's very silent. This movie is very silent and then but that
Yeah.
makes the movie more intense, I feel like, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
Crazy stuff. It's just it's I don't know. It was like a new experience for me, movie without sound, like too much sounds, I guess.
Mm.
Yeah, I mean, I think the like the imagery and like just like the film itself, like it creates a sort of like anxiety or like stress in like the viewer, and like pairing that with
Mhm.
like minimal sounds to silence, it just causes you to have like no relief. So I think that was just like intentional, like just the way that they just choreograph or not choreographed, but like the way that they paired those two things together.
Mm,
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
I agree.
yeah.
And yeah, like you're saying, like the imagery, I think that was done really well in this film. Like the lychee and like
Oh,
Albert was saying, like
itchy.
biting the nails, like
Wait,
uh,
which part with the nails? Oh,
when
his nails. Yeah.
yeah, and there's yeah, and then like Tilda Swinton's also like taking eggshells out of her mouth, like
Right.
Oh, yeah, that's true. That's a good
like
one.
the
Yeah.
like bloody tomato imagery.
Yeah.
Man, even I think the first scene kind of like explains how she felt throughout the movie though. Like when she's in
Mhm.
like this tomato festival, she's just like mesmerized by this, and then at the end, she just wakes up from this fantasy, and she just goes back home, kind of thing. You know, he has this like good life with his family, even with Kevin, like fucking with her, and then at the end, it's just like, oh, what the fuck happened? Kevin killed everybody.
See, that actually makes me think, like, that connection between that opening scene where she's like experiencing this transcendent, having this transcendent experience, and then her waking up. And I also I love how like cryptic that opening is, where like
Mm.
she wakes up then, and it's just like all of a sudden in the future, and then it's like there's this red paint on the house, and you're like, what the fuck is going on? But
Yeah,
like
yeah.
there's that like connection between that scene where she's like crowd surfing in that festival, I guess, and then her waking up to this kind of like blood soaked house. It feels like, and like Pyatt said, like that kind of um that silent tension. It's like it feels kind of like there was nothing that she could have done. Like this was destined in a
Mm.
sense.
Meant to happen. He's just
Like
like that. Yeah.
that's what I mean. I feel like that explains like when we talk about like how we can explain him, but it's like there was nothing you could have done. This was just what was gonna happen,
Mm.
and like you couldn't have done anything different as a mother. Like there's just blood marked on your life. I mean, and you couldn't do anything about it.
Can't.
I don't know.
It's
Yeah,
already
I mean,
done. And he's just like that, I feel like. He's just a shitty kid.
yeah, I mean, I would actually like really like to talk about the just like the nature of like just like the possibility of a different sequence of events, because like in my eyes there were like different times where like there could have been like a turning point like in the like end result of like his life, and like maybe like I'm not really aware of like the different like names of the theories for like time, reality, and like whatever, but like maybe like the path of like the timeline would like self-correct or whatever. But like I'm thinking of like when like she breaks his arm, like if she had confessed, then maybe he wouldn't have lied to the doctor and like to his dad and like basically taken the fall for her. And like maybe that would have shifted, you know, how their relationship would have turned out. And maybe he just wouldn't have turned out the way that he did. There was a couple
But
other
see,
things, just like just like with the dad. Like I think like the dynamic between like I think John C. Riley is like a perfect like character for this.
yeah,
And I think his character actually plays a much bigger role than like maybe the viewer is like
I agree.
maybe
Yeah.
consciously aware of.
Yeah.
Just like in the dynamic between them. But
Yeah.
yeah, go ahead, Brandon. Was that you that wanted to say
No,
something?
I agree with what you're saying. I totally agree with that. Like he could have changed things a lot because like Kevin really uses him as a pawn to make her feel like more insane.
Yeah.
But I forgot you said something earlier that I forgot. Oh, like
Well,
like when he breaks his arm.
uh-huh.
Like I felt like that was another example of like yeah, he's taking the fall for her, but he's doing it to really like manipulate her, like
Sure.
psychologically, you know. And
for
that
Yeah.
I like, to me, I'm like, at that point, like that kid is already fucking
Yeah.
like, so I don't know, but yeah, maybe you could have corrected at some point, you know, at that
Yeah.
age, but yeah, I don't
Yeah.
know.
And like somebody brought up the scene. I mean, you guys, I think maybe all have talked about it, but the scene where John C. Riley comes back while he's a baby, while Kevin's a baby, and like she just put him to bed or whatever, put him to sleep, and he comes in and like doesn't like coordinate, doesn't like cooperate with like Eva or Tilda Swinton's character, like her like request or like plea to like not wake him up or whatever. Like that whole thing, like it might have like developed like a small bit, just like that might have been like the start of like her building resentment towards the baby and like developing this idea that like John C. Riley's character was like against her and like just like kind
Yeah.
of created this like psychological like thing where like she was unsure of like if she like was like seeing things, if like she was right because like nobody's listening to her or like nobody believes her. And like I think
Yeah.
I think they're like buds of like, you know, buds growing like throughout the film that like basically like escalate into like the mess that like Ezra Miller's character or Kevin like becomes towards the end.
Yeah, I agree. That's what I was saying. Like, I think that John C. Riley is like unknowingly gaslighting her because she's like, "Am I fucking imagining this?" And like, he doesn't mean to do that because he does actually see a different reality because he sees a different Kevin.
Yeah. He sees Kevin,
Yeah.
who's like a good kid, who's just like needs more attention kind of thing, and then, but in reality, he's just fucking crazy. He's just a fucking crazy kid. Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't know. Maybe that's like yeah. Like I was also trying to think of like trying to piece together like the story and you know it's in her perspective, the original source, the book, and Yeah, like thinking about like what are the things I could have changed. Like, I think the like you were mentioning how they kind of split apart because they see two different realities. It just kind of gave, and Kevin completely used this to be completely untouched, right? Like there was no correction for any of his attitude or anything because the husband didn't believe in her. So there seemed to be no discipline at all, right?
Yeah.
So
Mhm.
and she just like I feel like she kind of just gave up, right? She's just like, fuck it, like we'll just live like this, and then maybe that's why like it's just he became totally like Kevin became totally in control after
Mhm.
that. Um, yeah, thinking about like what could have been like I was thinking of a lot of things like if she could have recorded him like how Kevin treated her and it just showed John C. Riley, maybe that could have been a bit better. At least you have someone on your side and like two parents trying to deal with the situation might have ended differently rather than like yeah there's basically Kevin got like full control after they kind of had this split. Um,
Yeah.
so yeah, thinking about it.
I am kind of like, dude, fuck John C. Riley. Like you, like over that many years,
Yeah.
over
You
that
just
many
let
years,
him
it's like, bro,
enable
like
him.
Really
listen to your
obsolete.
wife.
Yeah.
Like she's clearly
Yeah.
not like I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, it's because he made her sacrifice like her life in New York and everything. Like
Yeah,
they
she
went
was
through like
Mhm.
she was
yeah,
like this like she had her own office working for like
yeah,
she had
yeah,
a lot of
yeah.
people working for her and like travel business, I think, right?
Mhm.
Mhm.
And he basically gave all that up just to raise Kevin. And
Mhm.
then Kevin just was a shitty kid. It was not worth the transition.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's almost like both John C. Riley's character and Tilda Swinton's character, like they both had this like conception of like this like idea of like how they were supposed to raise their kids, and both of them basically like took a fall for it because John C. Riley was like over like controlling basically like Tilda Swinton's like maternal instincts, and like she gave up like her like ideas of like happiness and whatever, and like she basically like changed, she made a different decision because of the like guilt tripping that like John C. Riley was like putting on her, like we need to do what's best for Kevin, so like they moved out of the city, and like she gave up like her only source of happiness, and like things just like go downhill like throughout the entire movie, but like every decision that they make, like it just seems like John C. Riley is like controlling her, and like not in a way that like he's like doing it like knowingly, but like he's
Mhm.
making things worse. It seems like,
Yeah.
at least from my perspective.
Mhm.
Mm.
Yeah.
I
I agree.
do like have some kind of empathy to John C. Riley's character because like he obviously sees that one side and like he he has no idea how crazy his kid is, so he just thinks it's a normal kid.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously he's to blame for like not listening and like not really believing her, but like he's just played so well. And like how do you think this like a kid that is going to be that intelligent to be manipulating the parents like that seemingly for
Yeah.
no reason? So it's
Yeah.
like this yeah, the situation is just like yours. Yeah. I just feel like Tilda Swinton should have recorded the little bastard doing all that shit.
Yeah.
It showed
Yeah.
her. Yeah.
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 Like yeah, it's tough. It's like I've been like I heard of cases where like kids have like Tourette's, right, and their parents have no idea like what it is, and sometimes a parent like one parent just blames that it's attention seeking and like purposely doing that.
Mm-hmm.
So like there's other cases where it's just like the parents is blaming the kid without not understanding them. So
Mm-hmm.
like I kind of think that's what John C. Riley was thinking, like, because like even that scene where they're outside and that and discussing like the why the daughter got blind, she's like it's definitely Kevin, and then you see like this frustration on John C. Reilly, probably there's been multiple cases like this that happen where she like truthfully said it's Kevin, but like John C. Reilly just in his perspective, it just seems like Tilda Swinton's just blaming it on Kevin.
Yeah.
Because it's been kind of shown that Tilda wasn't really a fan of not having a child, but like she wasn't really like that happy. So maybe that
Yeah, it
gave
was
that
an
perspective.
unexpected kid, I think.
Yeah.
It was like
And like John C. Reilly himself is just like completely oblivious to it's his problem, but
he's like, "Oh, we have a kid. Are you happy?" Til's like, I didn't plan for this." I think that's how it went, if I remember correctly.
mm,
Yeah. I mean, she.
Yeah.
I think she still liked the kid when, she took care of him and all that, but like,
mhm.
I don't think she wanted to quit her job. As I said
Yeah.
earlier, she was like, "Oh, I could have been in France. I could have been
Yeah.
like traveling and writing books because she was like a traveling journalist or something, I think, in a traveling
Mhm.
company. She wrote books about about travel, about her travel. Even her room was like filled with maps and like some kind of a mask from some place, some kind of relic that she has in the room. Yeah, she really loved her lifestyle, and then just Kevin came in, John C. Riley and Kevin came in, and then just ended everything. Like ended her career, ended her um enjoyment basically,
Yeah.
like her own enjoyment, not as a family. Yeah,
Mhm. And she like made that compromise. Like she's
huge
yeah,
compromise.
she's like in a way like a great parent and like the patience and compromise and every like sacrifice even until the end. She shows like affection to Kevin even after all the shit he's done. It's like hmm. I just feel really bad for her. I think that's
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Anything else that you guys want to say?
I don't think so.
No.
Well, I thought he was an interesting. What I saw is like a character development when Eva or Tilda Swinton's character had her second child. Like I thought that like reaffirmation or like validation for like her as like a mother to like see a child that like she could love
Yeah.
unconditionally and that loved her back and like it was like
True.
flawless almost, and then that like connection that they like innately had, from the beginning, like I think that's what like kind of like threw like Kevin for a loop because like yeah, like I mean he does have like a certain like affinity for like analyzing people, so like he knew that he was like I don't know, just like being like pushed away and like when she like stepped up and like basically like protected her daughter like when he was like splashing her with the water like that like showed that she was like going to start setting boundaries and like it was going to like basically like push him out of the picture and like going to stop him from like misbehaving. So I thought that was an interesting thing and then like immediately that night like he like starts cuddling with her to try and like gain the like love and affection that like she was going to almost like assuredly gonna give to her daughter. So I thought that was
Hmm.
like an interesting development in like the whole movie.
Yeah. Just
Yeah.
I don't know. All I got to say is like this kid, man, needs discipline, man, from the beginning.
Yeah, no, like that kid needed to be punished.
Yeah,
For
it's
sure.
some kind of a punishment. I don't know, like
Okay,
yeah.
No, I
God
agree.
damn, dude.
I think when she threw him, like, bitch, you need to throw him harder.
oh my god. Okay.
Like
Maybe
she
we'll
really
delete
did.
that
She
from
basically just dropped him.
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
like she needs to chuck his ass.
Oh my god. Yeah, you're mentioning
Holy
out the
shit,
window.
dude.
Oh my god. Yeah, we'll delete this part from the podcast.
I should delete this part, but yeah, I think he needed some kind of a punishment, man. He was such a shitty kid. Like they should have like done
It's an
something about it.
understatement. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just yeah. I feel like they needed help, like some like I don't know, like psychiatrist or something. If they saw this kind of kid, like this kid didn't fucking go to the bathroom until like what 7, 8, 5? I don't know. Like who the fuck still wears diapers at 5? You know, that's a sign that you have to like go check with the doctor, right? I think it's kind of a parent's fault, and also like this kid is just crazy, man. It's just both sides to blame, but then it's mostly Kevin's fault. That's how I want to put it. Anyway, I think this movie was had a lot to talk about. You know, it's just I don't know. Story wise, I still don't think it's like a meaningful story, but it was like an entertaining story where we can talk about different endings and all that. You know. It was my
Yeah, I
first
mean,
time
meaningful is a
watching.
weird word.
Yeah, I guess. I something with I don't know. Anyway, psychological thriller for Halloween, kind of interesting. You know, made you think a lot how the relationship works and how crazy this kid is. How we fucking developed a hate for this kid after watching this movie. Yeah, overall, I think it was good. It was good. We should.
Yeah.
It's a different movie next time. Anyway,
Yeah.
that's it for the podcast today.